Welcome to the report for Tiger Mountain, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about our dearly departed Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews, who recently came out and said we hit him in relation to his accident. So we're going to talk about that tonight on the report from Tiger Mountain. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the little situation with Daniel Andrews. Obviously, we all knew there was something a bit dodgy going on there with this accident Daniel Andrews had, where him and his wife Kathleen had an incident where they hit a biker, Ryan Meuleman. And, you know, I actually had an interesting thought about that, you know what I mean? Because one of the interesting things about you know, that we know about the cabal, the globalists, the secret rulers, all this stuff, is that they use blackmail, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? So one of the reasons, you know, that Dan Andrews might have been given the nod as the Premier is because they had something, you know, particularly during the time of the pandemic, is because they had something particularly juicy on him in the blackmail department, which is essentially this accident. I mean, you know, they probably knew the truth about it. I don't know, maybe he was drunk, maybe his wife was drunk. I know that neither of them were breathalyzed, you know, which is very unusual in a situation like this. Obviously, you know, the wheels of the Labor Party went in to protect one of their rising stars. So, you know, this was kind of covered up. But I think the significance of this event, and actually I have almost some sympathy with Daniel Andrews, because I don't know what happened. Maybe the story is that, you know, Daniel Andrews was turning the corner and Daniel Andrews said this kid came out of nowhere and just slammed into him, you know. But it's probably the case that it was negligent driving and that there was this biker and either they didn't see him or for whatever reason they turned into him and hit him. You know, so in a sense they are to blame. That is, I would say, what happened. And, you know, it was probably Daniel Andrews, or it could have been his wife even. So, you know, they have something on the family, so to speak. They have something on the Andrews family. And I imagine they said to him, you know, listen, there's this pandemic coming, there's going to be these lockdowns, and I want, you know, in Victoria, the world's longest lockdown, you know, because Australia's a pretty gullible country, and, you know, the cabal really want to run it up the flagpole, see how long they can lock a city down. And, you know, they locked us down, I mean, for close to 2 years. It wasn't the entire time. We were let out occasionally for a month or two here and there, but it was almost 2 years of continuous lockdowns, and it was an extraordinary time. It was actually a very interesting time to be alive in Melbourne, because, you know, it sort of forced you into certain kind of solitary contemplation. You know, obviously I'm somebody who's a book collector. I have so many movies that I could permanently run a cinema out of this place. You know, so I actually quite enjoyed lockdown, but, you know, I did resent the fact that it's kind of forced on people, and I knew a lot of people were suffering. It was obviously something that caused a mental health crisis in young people, caused a mental health crisis in just about everybody in some way or another. People were abusing alcohol, people were abusing drugs off the charts in that time, and, you know, it was just extraordinary what was going on. And, you know, so I think it's very significant, this accident, and I think it's interesting that it's coming out now, you know. So I would say that Daniel Andrews is culpable. Maybe they're going to throw him under the bus. There's some talk that he'll be put in jail. Some people in the freedom movement lock him up, you know, a la Hillary Clinton. I can't see that happening. Maybe it'll come out that he was culpable and he, you know, might receive some you know, slap on the wrist from the whoever, the magistrate or something. You know, obviously he was deeply unpopular for all this lockdowns, and obviously got the statue going to be built to him and everything, which I think is actually a plus for the freedom movement, because you just know people are going to vandalise that thing every week. That's hilarious. I'm not advocating it, but we just know it's going to happen. So I think it's a win that having a statue of Daniel Andrews, because people are going to be dressing that up for time immemorial, ladies and gentlemen, unless they build an electric fence around it. So, you know, look, I think it's very interesting what's happening, and let's follow this case. And I know I talk about this on the Sam Newman show, so let's see what happens and let's see what it reveals. But it almost reveals, in my mind, that Andrews was in some way blackmailed over this event, and that's how they were able to control him, and that's the significance of the event. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the report from Tiger Mountain for this week. Thank you.